from our conversation, meetings. Did you learn anything?
Well, there are probably a lot of things. The most interesting part is, of course, focusing on one area. I at least have been talking a lot for 10 years, but now I finally feel it's time to do something, especially for myself as well. Finally, I can explain things in a new way, in a way that we didn't before.
How does the future look like to you in 5 years?
If we keep this ChatGPT and AI things around, we will get to help formulate better narratives around things. We will be getting used to asking more questions. Asking questions raises your curiosity and gives you perspective. This will become a plugin in all apps.
Hello everyone, we are live today with Michael Sillion, and Michael and I have been spending some time together this week. Thank you for the time, Michael. I came in Sunday.
To Gothenburg.
Today's Wednesday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
It's Thursday today.
Thursday. Oh, 4 days together.
Yeah.
So what changes did you find in me?
What changes did I find in you? I found that you
Less hair.
less hair. No, you seem more relaxed and jolly.
Oh, okay.
Compared to when I met you last in Pakistan, 2019.
Oh, okay.
A bit wiser.
Oh, made more mistakes. And anything else?
Anything else? Yeah, more focused on the future with the learning in Rehan school and AI and ChatGPT, and you're like, I could see that this is your era that has come now.
Oh, okay. So I have to be 15 for my era to come.
Yeah, like me.
What era is that?
When all the things you've been talking about for 10 or more years are finally coming up in public conversation and things like that. At least here. Not in Pakistan so much yet, but...
What else did you pick?
What else did I pick?
Did you learn anything?
From you or from
our conversation, from our meetings, from our presence.
From our presence, yeah. It's time to do more things right now. I at least have been talking a lot for 10 years, but now I finally feel it's time to do something, especially for myself as well. The things I talked about before was not really me, but the things I talked about now and during the last half year feels like finally I can explain things in a new way.
Anything else?
Well, there are probably a lot of things. So tell me, yeah. So this is like, we come out of a global pandemic where old sense making and linear thinking didn't make sense anymore, and a lot of more people than before started realize that, or question that at least. So now we can talk about complexity in a way that we didn't before.
Did you pick up anything from me, or was it just happened?
No, I picked up a lot of things.
I want to make a log of all the stuff you picked up.
All the log of I don't keep track in that. It's just more a sense I get from I've been hearing you talking about Rehan school at least 10 times during the last 2 weeks now, starting with Bartola's conversation and the catapult, and then hearing you explain it to people here. So I pick up the nuances every time, and it makes so much sense. The most interesting part is, of course, focusing on one area, because I'm super interested in what does it mean to become a key person of influence, like these kids when they have done this for 1,000 days, that lives all amounts of trace in people, on the line, in themselves about this subject, and suddenly they become, like you said, water voila, or sanitation voila, or electricity voila, future voila, like myself. For me, it's been a much slower process because I'm older and I can't like keep at it all day or all weeks, but 1 week at a time or 1 day at a time for me when I go all in, and then I do other things.
You need to change also.
Yeah.
So if somebody were to ask you, what is Rehan school and what is it doing, what would you explain?
What I explain, from my perspective, it's accelerating the number of potentially go-to persons, geniuses, and super experts in an area field. Like if you find one kid in 1,000 that becomes a world leader in some of these fields, this is amazing because we have so few world leaders in so few fields. And we can see all the old leaders, they're just talking bullshit about things that aren't true anymore, or never were true in the first place.
So do you give your shield of approval to the school concept?
Yeah, more than ever. We need a lot of these things, and we need them in different shapes so they can learn from each other.
What do you like best in the school system process, which you have heard so far?
Yeah, that they make when they listen to something, they make a video with their own reflections. That process is the learning. The listening you take in, but you can forget, and sometimes you don't learn. But when we have made your own comment on something you just watched, then you learn better.
So I'm kind of doing the same to you for the 4 days of watching video, and you express yourself in 1 minute. So that's all you learn, like in 4 days, just 1 minute of content coming out. That's something which I ask my children all the time. When we go to a trip or we spend the time together, and I come out in the car and say, "So what do you learn?" They say, "No, nothing." But I know that they've learned much more than they can express.
Yeah.
So the challenge is in the expression part, and the nuances which we don't even know we're learning. And that's where the learning is happening, but we don't know that it's happening. And I wish there was a better way I could find so that these kids can realize maybe there was an AI installed on the phone or in the brain that can track what grew in those days.
I think my thing is that some people want to measure everything, have data and things like that, but I also is for what Nora Bateson called warm data, kind of deeper sense making. You just see, something. You can't measure it. You will see when one of these kids meets another kid that they
will explain everything.
Yeah, but they can also see the contrast between them, and then you just know that it's the difference. They have learned something. You can't.
But you're still measuring.
Yeah.
You're still measuring because I want to measure because I want to create.
Yeah, we need to. Don't take me wrong. We need to measure a lot of things. We need that. We need data science, and we need like statistics and large data, big data that AI can process. But not everything is data in that essence. So we don't only need that. But we need a lot of data and more data. But but some people come so obsessed by data. So if you can't measure it, it's not true. But that's not the case. There are many things that we can sense and feel that we can't measure. That is also true. So you don't have to become, you shouldn't become obsessed with measuring and data. Lots of academia and scientists and even Bartola is on that field. But you have to measure it because else we can't prove it, or else it isn't true. But we know that.
We can see that it changed somewhat.
Yeah, we can see.
But we can't sometimes measure it. Yeah. Most of the work I've done in my life, I couldn't measure. Uh, but I know that it happened. I know
Mm.
that so many things have happened just
Mm.
because they were presence.
Yeah.
But I can't measure that. So I live with that.
Mm.
Do you see any things I ignored should have been added in the school?
No, you're hinting at that they need sister projects and friends globally so they can talk about this. I think that is something that is missing everywhere, even here in Sweden. We so there's very few school or projects that connects kids to the world today. They're okay, they use AI in school and everything, but they have their Swedish friends. They don't speak English. Uh, they're not connected to a world in an area where it's totally technically possible everywhere, especially after COVID. Where's the daily Zoom calls with a class in Brazil or a class in Namibia or whatever,
Why do
wherever?
you think it doesn't happen?
Because they don't have the global perspective that you and I have. Most people have, even during COVID, they didn't travel global. They used they used the new technology of video chats, but they didn't connect with someone outside their workplace still. Like you and I did. I've been talking to so many people all over the world during COVID. It's been an amazing experience. The best part of COVID compared to the worst is, of course, that you can sit at home and connect people globally. But suddenly there were people everywhere doing this. I've been doing video calls for 10 years, but
they were not used to
but
that.
in the beginning, I was lucky if I could get a good call once a month, but now I can get a good call every day.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point.
Yeah, but they've become used to the technology, but they don't have the narrative to seek people outside their own bubble or in other parts of the world.
When COVID happened, I saw a lot of schools doing exactly what they were doing in the classroom on Zoom.
On Zoom,
And I was like, and they were calling themselves digital schools. I was like, this is not digital school.
This is just the old school.
This was the exact old school in the box, in a different box. It's
a different box, yeah.
It just they could use so many things. They were still giving lectures. I'm shocked to see that people are still logging on Zoom to listen to a lecture. It absolutely doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a webinar. That's not a Zoom call. I've seen some people didn't get it. They used Zoom for webinar. They even turned off comments and everything. It was just one way.
You just put a video, then people can watch it, and that's it. You
don't need to
set time.
That's so ridiculous.
Everything.
So people have to feel stressed just to be there. Yeah.
But I think the reason
the breakout rooms are like the revolution, but so people don't even use them.
Yeah, but I think the reason is that we're living in this technology for the last 20 plus years, and we're still not used to this. We not get it. It's not part of us. Like the new generation of kids doing the Snapchat stuff. I think they're part of a new era or a different generation, and these people who are older are not getting it. That it's a totally different world. It's just unable to compute.
Yeah, but there's a lot of kids get this, but there's a lot of kids that think
Kids are getting it.
Think TikTok. I think is not good because TikTok promotes just a broadcast mindset. There's not that collaboration. Of course, you can become a creator, but when you create your own content, you're still broadcasting. There's no group conversation.
I think Facebook was too. I think the way I manipulated Facebook was different than I know anybody doing it, because Facebook people use it. Well, no, that's my private network. I want to add my friends. I don't want to know these people. LinkedIn I can do. What's the difference?
Yeah.
So I think people just don't get technology yet. They put everything on LinkedIn, but they don't put anything on Facebook. So I can just Google them, and I can just like 30 seconds later, I can find out everything about them. But they don't want to put it there on Facebook. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, there hasn't been any formal or informal training how to use the tools. They're just like they're just there, and they're like there's no public courses or training camps or anything. Like the thing being Bertola been doing, and you to ourselves and to other people wherever we go, we teach you to pick their phones and show them, and
if you fix it.
Yeah, we fix it to set them on another path, like steer, change the direction. And we meet people every day like yesterday who are not after almost 20 years on Facebook, you still don't get it.
Why isn't it happening?
Because no one has showed them before. They live in a bubble where no one does it. So
how can we change
you by doing what we do, but more more of us.
I'm sick and tired of doing
it. yeah. But we, like you say, we can outsource this now. There's many apprentices that can do it for us now.
Yeah, but they don't get it also. Yeah? I don't know why people don't get it. There are very few people I find that they actually get it, or they don't try to get it, or they don't want to get it. I don't get it why they don't get it.
There's no Star Trek series showing people how they live their life like us. We should be in a TV series.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Would you write it? Do you know somebody who can write it?
Yeah, he's called
ChatGPT. Well, you have to give it prompts.
Yeah, prompt him. Write a series about to.
That's a great idea. Let's do it.
Yeah.
When you come next, you can shoot the episodes.
Yeah.
And let's make one pilot and see what happens with that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Now we have that tool that will write the script for us and everything.
Yeah. Well, there is a new tool coming which is going to make the movie for us also.
Yeah.
It's very near. It's like a year away. Initially, it will be bad quality, I think. But like in 3 years, it will be like, this is all I want. I don't want to see the stupid human beings anymore. I think it will be very rapid.
Yeah, I've seen, at least now during COVID, some TV series has gotten this. They use they use text and in social media in a way that looks authentic. You see on screen the text messages, and there's some shows it looks authentic, and some shows looks like ridiculous. This is not how you use it in real life, but some shows actually do. I can't think of one on my mind right now, but I can find it. Yeah. So at least there's that, but there's still like one-to-one communication. I don't show them using social media, interacting with other people and things like this. It's just the chats so far. Why is people use in your network more Messenger than WhatsApp? And they don't use Facebook. They just use Facebook for messenger service. No, it's like a group think. If my friends do it, I do it, and then it propagates. So it becomes like, it's like a virus spreading. Yeah, everything is mimetic. You copy what your friends and colleagues do, and then it spreads locally, like different regions and different workplaces spreads different behavioral patterns. That's how we humans have done it for millions of years. We copy our peers. So, say you have now 10 students who want to become the future navigators. What do you want to teach them? What do I want to teach them? I will start from where I am right now. That's why I've been taking developing this framework. What is a learning universe? What is a learning society? What is learning? What is an event? What is a living agent? What is free will? What is how do you direct yourself with millions of different behavioral patterns and cultures and text and narratives? How does it all mesh together? And start there to really understand, and start doing role play where you break out specific parts of this, so you become self-aware of a pattern or an anti-pattern or things like that. That's where I would start, because if we start there, anything is possible. Okay. And you want to start how often to teach? 1 hour a week, or 1 hour a day? I can do a couple of hours per week to start out and see how it feels.
I can tell you that it'll be very challenging to find the first 4 or 5 students.
Yeah.
And if you can be punctual,
Mhm.
you will eventually find 4 or 5 students.
Mhm.
Most will not.
Mhm.
They won't understand, I think, because they're coming from a very different base
Mhm.
than you. You have spent thousands of hours trying to understand all this.
Mhm.
And the challenge in teaching is that most people don't get it. And the reason they don't get it is they don't have the base
Mhm.
to understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you will have to be very, 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 very patient.
Mhm.
I have one Sufi teacher.
Mhm.
He has been teaching Sufism for 20 years.
Mhm.
You would think he would be like Sadhguru or very
Mhm.
famous. But he said, I only got found 4 students for 20 years.
Mhm.
And he said, you're lucky that you have so many people who want to learn from you.
Mhm.
I couldn't find them.
Mhm.
So I think the way forward for you can be you should start a future podcast
Mhm.
and start teaching. Let the people ask you questions, make a group,
Mhm.
and then just interact with them. And then find 1, 2, 3 people to talk. And then at the school,
Mhm.
you can do 1 to 3 hours a week and see who's getting it, who's not getting it. They will pretend they don't get it. Like yesterday,
Yeah.
we were doing the exercise, but they are getting it. Of course, they're getting very small quantity of what you're talking about, and they don't have the courage to ask questions. So that'll be very challenging initially, because people are not going to take actions because they don't get it.
Mhm.
They will be the what was the dog, top dog and the underdogs. They will pretend to be underdogs.
Yeah.
How does the future look like to you in 5 years?
In 5 years, yeah. The way I see it, the extreme weather is becoming more present to everyone. Like now, it's catastrophic in some regions, but in 5 years we will have it like every month, everywhere, and people will realize it's your daily life routines is part of the problem. We can't continue as we did.
You think only in 5 years will happen?
I don't know, but I'm guessing, of course.
And what else?
And what else? I think it's if we keep this ChatGPT and AI things around, we will get to help formulate better narratives around things. I guess, so we can start understanding. We will be getting used to asking more questions because, and that becomes a thing. Asking questions raises your curiosity and gives you perspective.
I feel that ChatGPT will allow this to happen, and I really hope that WhatsApp introduces ChatGPT type of thing inside WhatsApp and Messenger.
This will become a plugin in all apps.
Yeah, I already made a plugin, but I think it should be like default.
Yeah.
And if it becomes default, then it needs to be on the Messenger platform because then people can collaborate more. It can even suggest you can connect to this person, you can connect to this person, you can connect to this person. I mean, think about it. You're single, you would want a partner, but you can't find it.
Yeah.
There are 4 billion people on these platforms, which knows everything about us.
Yeah.
And they can instantly find you the right partner. They can instantly find you the right job. They can instantly find you the right employee. They can instantly find you the right food. It's like all the data is right there.
Yeah.
It's just like it's right there. It's like it's like sitting right there. I can feel it.
I can feel it. Yeah.
But it's not happening. And I hope that Facebook and Meta has the balls to just go ahead and do it because it is going to change the world. it's going to fundamentally
They're certainly not doing nothing right now. They're certainly on the
something
ball.
happening.
Yeah,
But
they're not sitting. I wonder what we're gonna do with this. They certainly have a working hard on something they're gonna do
yeah,
because they
I think I'm very excited for that time.
because they have what no one else has.
The data they have.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what we will do after that, because most of my time is spent on um, finding things, finding information, and finding people, and finding the right partners. And now all of a sudden we will just have it, and with our lazy bones, we will be forced to do stuff. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I think it's going to give rise to a lot more opportunities, especially for the Weaver Navigator part that you, me, and Bertola have.
I think we will not have any opportunities there because AI can do all that.
Yeah, but AI is not here to replace us. AI will not do this to talk to itself. AI will do this together with us humans. We humans will still enjoy traveling, meeting, talking, expressing, learning.
I think it'll be totally fundamental change of how we as humans live and spend our days together.
Yeah.
Because opportunities will just walk up to you. You don't even have to go anywhere to work. You don't have to go anywhere to find work. People will have extremely less excuses to get away from things. It's right here. What do you think?
Yeah, the opportunities that are hard to find today are become much easier to find, and then we will see when they crash with old structures of bureaucracy and laws and policies what happens. It's going to be really interesting because when we can feel that all the old structures, they can't handle the way things are now, and in 5 years it's when new opportunity systems and gonna run circles around this, it's gonna crash down, and there's gonna be some people who have dedicated their lives to bureaucracy going to question their life work, and some people who have been advocating change is gonna really see it happen.
When I came to the hotel yesterday, I was watching ads. I love to watch ads. I was watching, and some of them were Swedish, some of them were in English. And I was like, why do we still have to have these borders? Like, these guys can just order something and just should be there. Like, in Norway, you don't have Amazon. It's so funny to me that we live in such an open world, such an interconnected world. You can't get delivery with Amazon. And the logistics software is there, the logistics systems are there, it's just not allowed to be integrated. Some guy just sitting on the file and saying, no, I'm not going to let it happen, it's going to destroy the world, or blah blah blah. When do you see that happening?
I don't know. We have to, when that can be coordinated with energy budgets, so we can't just ship everything back and forth like we do today. We have to get much smarter about our energy use when shipping physical stuff.
But it is being shipped. For example, the stuff is being shipped around the world and
but when we can use smart logistics systems to do that,
but they do exist.
But we use too much crude oil and shipping things no one needs today, because there's no coordination, there's no insight, you can't ask the ChatGPT, do I really need this? What is the how much energy do I destroy burn up from the world by doing this without
thinking? I'm saying it's still happening. Like, people are still selling stuff across the borders. People are still selling stuff in different parts of the world. But it's not interconnecting.
No, it's not
it's not organized. So, for example, let's talk about another topic. This morning breakfast, they had, I don't know, gazillion things on the buffet. I'm just thinking, because when you mentioned, I was like, why didn't they just give me an app to
I want
just select
this, and this. Yeah,
and don't make anything else?
No,
And
there's no
everything
surplus. You don't have to throw away anything.
it's being wasted right
Yeah.
now. And I just go up there and I just
And the things people really wanted are out because they didn't make enough of it, and the things they don't want is just laying there. You can see it everywhere. Nobody wants this stuff. Like there's an untouched basket of something.
Yeah. On the technologically side, it's so possible.
No, it's so easy. The night before, this I want for breakfast. Check, done. Delivered, fried. I'm there at 9:15. It's hot, just ready when you get there.
Yeah. Why don't we do it?
Yeah, like the incentive is there to make less waste everywhere. Like not the incentive, but the narrative is there. But we don't have the.
I think they will save a lot of money.
Yeah, they will save a lot of money, and the company says they're tired of the government not acting, and this is a company, so why don't they do it then? This is a hotel chains are very large companies. They can do this on scale easily.
So many small little things are broken. Okay, your turn.
Your turn.
So ask me questions.
Ask me questions. Yeah. Where in the world do you feel? Where in the world do you see the future happen right now when you look?
Internet.
Yeah. So internet is the place for you?
It's a space.
It's a space
where I can create instantly a space to make things happen. Magic happens. Unfortunately, many people don't participate in that space because they don't live in that mindset that it is real.
Yeah,
they think it's fake,
and they see
it's not there. You can't grab them.
Yeah. Many people here in the Western world, they see the kids on just consuming games or TikTok or Reels and stuff like that, and they scorn at it and they say this is not good. They're just sitting with the face in the phone, and at the same time, I can see you sit with your face in the phone, and I'm on the opposite. Yeah, great. Rehan is in the space. He's doing stuff for real. So where is the different narrative around sitting? You said you want your iPhone inside you, and I do that too. I don't want to have it in front of me. Like use my hand. I have to use my hand. Where is the different narrative when we truly see it for the tool it is and not the distraction most people see it for today?
I think, as you said, they don't understand it.
How do we make them understand?
I think you're right. We need to create a starter act which explains it. We need to create a movie, drama,
several
movies and drama that explains. You watch this show, like when the show Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, of course.
Whole thing.
Yeah.
So my hope was that I will actually understand startups, but it's really not that. It's kind of that, but it's not explaining.
No.
I have this.
There's too little learning.
Too little learning and too much BS. I think that this is how storytelling in the movies is how people will learn in the future, and I know this for 10 years now. I just did not have the budgets to make movies. Before Corona, in Karachi, did you went to our warehouse? I took Bertola of Joy.
No.
So we have a very large space for making movies and theater stuff right in the middle of the city, and we call it the Film City. And my hope was that we can have a lot of dramas made over there. I wanted to create an ecosystem which would just ignite content creation. And then Corona happened, and that place is just sitting on itself. And then I made the small little one, the incubator. People are just not understanding what I'm trying to do. People don't even understand what I'm trying to do here. It's just, for example, you want to teach somebody maths, right? And we spend hundreds of billions of dollars trying to teach basic maths to kids. I think we can create a phenomenal movie for $100 million with Steven Spielberg, and that watching that basic movie, you can understand basic math, or you can understand how to subtract and multiply, and what is gravity and basic sciences. You can just watch a movie for 2 hours and you understand, just like we understand through movies and dramas. I think majority people will understand. So, I worked in education space for a long time in Pakistan, and I visited hundreds of campuses. I asked about 3 movies, and they know everybody has seen that movie, and they understand the narrative, the story, they memorize it because they've watched it. They understand it. It just goes inside.
A good example is 1999, the movie Rounders with Matt Damon came out and Edward Norton.
I haven't seen it.
No, but before that, nobody knows what Texas Hold'em and poker was. There was 4, and 4 years later, everyone is playing Texas Hold'em online. The apps exploded. Everyone knew what it was because this was one of these exceptional movies that explained something. Suddenly, everyone know what poker and Texas Hold'em was and how to play it, and I wanted to play it because the movie made it cool. And just one movie changed the world. One world, one narrative, and there is a good example of that. It was The Matrix for me. That changed me, the way I see on identity and where you express yourself in the world and why you do. Not every movie is for everyone, but there should be a movie for everyone.
Schools,
so
I
if
think
you,
instead of wasting time and energy on books, we need to get into the next level of education, which is movies.
So getting back to the campfire, where all learning was done through a storyteller around the campfire before we could read and write. All things was transmitted through stories around the campfire.
So we need to create more movies.
And that's why we saw people. There's a fantastic book called The Storytelling Animal.
Storytelling Animal.
Yeah. No.
Who's the author?
Adam, I forgot to write his name now.
Swedish, English?
English, yeah. It's blank. It'll come to me. Gottschall. Gottschall. His name is Gottschall. He explains that because of we've been doing storytelling as learning for many thousands of years, at least 40,000 years, things like that becomes incorporated into DNA. We love stories because we know we need to love stories to survive.
Have you seen that episode of Star Trek where they go and buy movies and they do everything just for the stories?
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
Me neither.
But do you remember this episode?
Yeah.
You don't?
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember that episode where the students, the children, 10, 12 years old, are running the whole world?
No.
There's, I think it's in the Next Generation or in the one before that. And every time I watch that, every time I remember that, I think of my school because
yeah, exactly.
That kind of gave me the idea of having the children.
Really there you go. One episode gave you an idea that changed the world.
And the story episode reminds me that stories are very important. And I don't know how they come up with these amazing episodes in the future but I think that by watching Star Wars, Star Trek, I have learned so much leadership, delegation, how to handle human beings. It's just an unbelievable training material for me. When I'm seeing
without you knowing it back then.
Yeah, first time when I watched it, I didn't know it, but then I started watching it on purpose for leadership.
Yeah, of course.
So when I was watching Captain Picard, I was watching how to lead. How do you handle people? How do you make them do things without pushing too hard?
Yeah. Without being the top dog.
Yeah, without being the top dog. So yeah, it's an extremely educational content. Most people think it's just weird. How much percentage of the world do you think are geeks like us who are actually trying to solve this?
more than we know, but like, you know, for certain that the writers of some of these TV series and shows, they did this on purpose. It was not accident. And I don't know how to get to know some of these people, but there are more than we know in bubbles somewhere, and they're probably looking for us.
How do we make this easier for them and for us? Because this kind of, even if it was 0.1%,
Yeah,
it's more than enough to change the world.
yeah.
Even if it's 0.01%.
We create more events to bring people together. Like, yes, like some of the events changed me. Going to San Francisco, not the event in itself, but meeting the right people like Fyodor there changed me. Going to Catapult, meeting some of the right people there changed me. Going to Japan and Kyoto, just meeting one person there changed a little bit in me. So creating the right event, and we can do it perhaps digitally. I've been to some of the digital Zoom events during the COVID years that I met the right person that changed me. Now I do this exercise called Glassbead Games every week.
What's Glassbead Games?
Glassbead Games is a small, simple exercise where you take a word or a subject and you play with it using two simple rules. First, you organize yourself in a small group, 2, 3, 4, or 5 people at most. If you're 6, you go into 2 threes. And you break it out. Breakout rooms also more in your physical space. You split it up, and then you choose a subject, and then you choose a turn order. So you go 4 to 5 rounds, 1 minute each, and when it's you, me. We choose a subject. We say the future, and then you talk about the future for 1 minute. I talk about the future for 1 minute, and we go 5 rounds of this. And the rules are: when it's your turn to speak, you don't use personal pronouns. I said, I think about the future, I did this, I'm going. You just talk about it in third person. And that disconnects the ego, and it disconnects that you're just talking about the subject. This is not you're not claiming ownership of your thoughts. And it just works for most people. And the second rule is, when it's not your turn, you just listen actively. You don't think about what you're going to say. Because when you go to a conference and a panel or everywhere, this is perfect exercise for a panel. People just sit there thinking about what they're going to say, and they're going to they're just going to tell them their CV that you can read from their LinkedIn. They spend their 5 minutes on a panel telling things that you can read on their LinkedIn profile, instead of coming up with profound things. And we try this in live panels and in Zoom panels, and it works. So one person got me to do this, and it changed me completely. I'm a different person today, thanks for this exercise.
Do you think there's time enough to fix a lot of things? Because we're just still taking out oil like crazy. We're still doing really stupid things to the planet.
Yeah, I think there's still time. If I didn't think that, I wouldn't do. I would just lay down and die. So
sometimes I feel there's no time left.
Yeah, me too.
You do?
Yeah, like sometimes I just cry, but then I find my energy and some inspiration or some flow state. So, and say, I'm Captain Future. I can do this.
All right. Do you have a Facebook group with the tribe?
With my tribe? Yeah, several. But Glassbead Games is one. My Glassbead Game tribe.
But what about Captain Future's tribe? Future Navigator tribe?
Yeah, not a group, but a page. But I will.
Let's make one.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, sure. What do you see? Like, we're talking about things we can do here in the West, but like you said, so many countries, India, Pakistan, Brazil, they're not there. They're thinking about daily meals. So that's the thing that really worries me. How do we get them on track?
We need to connect them to the rest of the world. That's all.
That's all.
If we can connect them, if you didn't think that India and Pakistan was so far
Mm.
or so different, then there would be no them and us. It
Yeah.
should just be all us.
Mm.
So, for example, right now, if you go hungry, you go to IESA, ICC, or whatever the supermarket is.
Mm.
But if you have some tasks to do, you don't think about the people living in other countries. You think just in Sweden. Your mind somehow has been programmed that this is the border, be it Sweden or Norway or maybe Europe for you or some other people, but there's still a border. And the moment you have a border in your head, that's when you stop giving and taking from them. One of the most important things which people don't understand is that it's not just giving. You have to also take from people, which I also did not understand. What does that mean? So, for example, if I take a favor from you, say I want to sleep at your house, or buy me a meal, I took a favor from you, right? Now all of a sudden you are higher, and I'm lower in the social space. By doing that, you will not be uncomfortable in asking to return the favor. But if I don't give you that opportunity, you will never ask me anything. That's something I deliberately started to do some years ago when I started to travel in Europe. I wanted to measure who's really my friend or who's just Facebook friend. Right? So I offered them, okay, I'll come and see you because I didn't used to get visas and I couldn't travel. So I had these people on my Facebook, but they would say, hey, come to Switzerland. Okay, I will come to Switzerland. I will buy my ticket. I will buy my meal if you open your house for me and let me sleep there for 2 days. It has to be, I had to measure how, I mean, I'm going to buy a $500 ticket to just go and have coffee with you. What's the point? So that's where I learned to actually ask for something. And then later on, I started asking within Pakistan also, even though I could afford living in places, even though I could afford a lot of things, I wanted to give them an opportunity to be on the higher side so that they can ask what they really want to ask me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. Since you asked about my bed, and I will give it to you gladly.
So because we don't ask favors from India, Pakistan, Africa, we think they don't have anything to give. That's where the disbalance happens. The Western people think that they're poor and they don't have anything to offer. That's not true. There is wisdom, there is love, there is care, there's time. There's a lot of things they can give you. And in the West, you don't have time. You really don't have. You don't have families. You don't have the way we do. You guys give. Most people give few hours a year to family, parents, and back home it has to be a few hours a day. So it's huge difference. And they have time to give you. A lot of people will be happy to give you time. But here, it's very hard to ask for time from anyone because nobody has time.
Yeah.
So once that has started to happen, once you start asking for favors, then you would see the disbalance because they're shy.
Yeah.
We still believe that we are some kind of lower race in humanity. Like the gentleman yesterday at the event, he was trying to adjust me at the event very, very hard.
Yeah. Well, why is that?
I don't know why he was trying to be over.
But you come from the cradle of civilization.
I know, but he has not been to the cradle of civilization. It's for whatever reason, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, China even think that we are lower race, and we are somehow inferior to the Western people. And because we feel that, we
You
act
also
that.
project that. Yeah.
We also act that.
Act that.
Forget about projection. We also
Yeah.
act that.
Yeah.
We're like this,
Mm.
It is part of us, right? We
Mm.
are like
Yeah.
we have to bow down. So
Yeah, but acting and projecting is not part of the some process of creating a narrative inside yourself and outside yourself. That's what Matrix
I
taught
grew
me.
up like that also.
Yeah.
So I
Me
was,
too.
yeah,
I had to do a lot of things to myself to project Captain Future.
yeah.
From the beginning, it was just, for 10 years it was just the hair. I didn't talk to people. I was so shy. So
Yeah.
from the even if I had a hair and people were curious about me, I didn't answer their questions.
They would think
So
you were crazy.
yeah. So it took a lot of work even for me here in the West.
Yeah. So there's a lot of work to be done. That's what I was worrying about. Is if you look at the game, and there's a time limit, and then there's so much energy, and then so many lives to complete the whole game.
Yeah.
So, and I believe in superpowers, like in the Mario Brothers or any other game. You do this, and you get superpower, and you go,
and you can scale, and you can supercharge yourself and other people.
Yeah, and then you somehow find that there is a possibility to level. But in a game, I always thought there's 100 levels, and there's a way to get there because somebody has done it.
Yeah.
And even if you get knocked out at the third level, there is another way to get it within the time frame.
Yeah.
So,
and eventually find out that one guy can do it without losing their life.
Yeah.
The whole 100 levels without dying once.
Correct.
And so that's a skill curve.
Yeah. And
And
the problem
then
in
there's
life,
learning. Yeah.
The problem in life is that I don't know for sure how much time is remaining.
No, how much.
What are and there's not enough time to find the skill. You can't die enough times.
No, you can't fail enough times.
So
Maybe not dying, but failing. It's like.
Yeah. So whoever created this game of this thing, I don't know, what is this thing which we're playing? It's kind of a game to me.
Yeah, it is. That's why I see it. I'm a super hard gamer.
Yeah.
What we call a die-hard gamer.
I used to be. Yeah. I'm no longer.
I still play.
I don't.
Several hours per day when I'm at home. Yeah, board games or computer games.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's why I'm so interested in expressing what is learning, because what's missing is collaboration and learning. When we learn from each other, others' mistakes, we can see things, we can connect the patterns. We can learn I can learn from you, even for you, because you can do things I could never do, but I can still learn from them because there's we have all different set of opportunities and limitations to who we are and where we are in the world. So by doing things on a different level and in different ways, all our paths can be woven together in learning. So that's what we need. That's why I try to explain what is a weaver. Someone who weaves paths of a lot of people together so they can interact and learn from each other. So they're not separate in the bubble, enclosed with borders and mindsets and old narratives and physical and mental limitations. That's how we have to open them all up and just get them to touch. It's enough sometimes, and sometimes I have to glue them together really hard, force people to interact with people that are very different from them.
Thank you. You are a great guy, and I hope that people will connect with you and actually start to become future navigators.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. And thank you all for watching and listening.